Welcome to Shojo Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, February 10th, 2025, aka the day after the Philadelphia Eagles destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs at the Super Bowl, we'll be shoujo and telling about the first 10 volumes of Snow White with the Red Hair by Sorata Akizuki. Or Akizuki, if we want to be nice.
Yeah, I was going to be like, nah.
That's
Can't do
what
that.
Viz put on the cover. Anyway, I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined by my husbando, Asher Sofman. Hello, Asher.
Hello, waifu.
Okay, yes. Asher, what's up? Who are you?
I'm your husband.
That's all.
It'd be weird if you didn't remember that.
I meant for the listeners, Asher. They don't know you like I know you, and they better not.
I was going to be like, I think some of your listeners know who I am. Yeah, how do I describe myself? I don't have any like amazing manga credentials, but Snow White with the Red Hair is one of my favorites.
Yes, for once, Asher is here not because I was like, hey, we have this manga lying around and it's out of print and nobody else has it. You gonna discuss it with me or what? Asher is genuinely one of the biggest Snow White with the Red Hair fans that I know.
I was going to say, I'm probably not one of the biggest ever, but that you know, sure.
Yeah, that I know. For sure. Okay, so this beginning segment is going to be spoiler-free. We will try not to talk about anything in great detail, give away like plot details for the first 15 to 20 minutes probably, and then I will give a spoiler warning. Caveat also, we're only talking about volumes 1 through 10, and there are currently 26 volumes with, is there an end in sight? I don't know. It's a really long manga, so I don't know how many spoilers you consider being in the first 10 volumes, but that's up to you. I'm going to let you decide that. Okay, so Asher.
Yes.
For the people who do not know, they probably vaguely know about Snow White with the Red Hair, but tell us what Snow White with the Red Hair is about.
All right. Snow White with the Red Hair is about our heroine, Shirayuki, which translates to Snow White. She has red hair.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Who could have seen this coming?
Oh my God. Her hair is startlingly apple red, which is rare enough in this fantasy world, apparently, to make her kind of an object of desire, an object of oddity, a curiosity, enough that she kind of gets the attention, the unwanted attention, of the prince of her kingdom, Tanbarun. She would love to be left alone to do her herbalist thing, you know, like an apothecary, alternative medicine kind of deal. But he's like, hey, you're cool and weird and rare and beautiful. Come be my concubine. And she's like, nah, how about nah?
Nah, son.
And flees the country since he is the crown prince. On her way to who knows where, she runs into some sketchy guy who turns out to be the second prince of this other kingdom, Clariness. And they become friends, essentially.
Friends.
Well, no, it's pretty obvious that they're into each other from the very start. And
we'll
from
go into it.
From the end of the very start. How about that?
Sure. Yeah.
One thing leads to another, essentially, and the series becomes about her trying to find and earn a place for herself in the palace so that she can stand with her new friend, boyfriend, intended husband-to-be, Zen Wisteria.
That's fun. So, Asher, we've established that this is one of your favorite manga ever. Mm-hmm. Not your mostest favorite manga ever, but your favorite shoujo manga? Can I say that?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Okay. And I had been quite bad and not read any of this until I was like, I owe it to my husband to read his favorite shoujo manga. Also, it's one of the most popular like contemporary shoujo manga. What am I doing? Okay, so I made myself read what is currently out once through, and then I restarted it. So this is my second read through for this podcast. This is Asher's 1,000,001 read through.
It's up there. I will say that I have read certain volumes, certain chapters a lot more than others, and this is my first time revisiting the first section of this in a while.
And apologies to Viz, but Asher did used to scanlate it because it took a hot minute.
I didn't scanlate it myself.
No, but you read the scanlations.
Yes.
And so you did admit to me that you were like, I'm not sure I ever read the early volumes in the official translation until just now.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with that. Because there was a hot minute where it wasn't legally available. I guess when it got an anime, maybe? I don't know. I didn't look at the timeline, but that sounds somewhat accurate to me.
That sounds probably right.
It sounds probably right. Okay, so Asher.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you love Snow White with the red hair so much? Like, what makes it the bestest?
They're just so stinking cute. Oh my God. I think the way that I described it to you initially to try to get you to read it way back in the day was that the relationships in it reminded me of the relationships in Waiting for Spring.
They are very cute.
They are very cute. It's all about these people, these kind of weird, but very earnest, honest, try hard people doing their best and making one another better. The entire core of Shirayuki and Zen's relationship is that she wants to stand by him to support him as he serves his kingdom as the second prince. He wants to support her in her career and not be like, I want her, I love her, so she should be my bride. No, he's like, I want her to be the bestest herbalist that she can be and be proud of her work and stand by me as someone who is also contributing to this country. And every single person in our main cast is like that. They are here to cheer each other on, to be there when they need, a hand, a shoulder to cry on. And I love it. They're so cute. They tease each other all the time, which is lovely. And it's kind of a sweet romance that doesn't sweep to some of the dark extremes that other shoujo manga can go into, like other good shoujo manga, right?
Yeah.
It's refreshing to me.
It is refreshing, and the characters are definitely its strong suit. I think you and I both agree that sometimes we're like, what is this plotting?
Oh, yeah, no. you don't go to Snow White with the red hair for the plots. You go to be like, oh my gosh, I hope they hold hands. And then they do.
I hope they touch. Yeah. Aww. The distance is so great. I hope they can get an inch closer today. Like,
I hope that they get a break from their work.
I hope they get to sleep. I hope nobody tries to do a bad to them. Oh no!
Oh no! One of them has been kidnapped and or poisoned.
Oh no!
Oh no! What are they gonna do?
It's sad. Yes. Yeah, no, it is very refreshing. You're like, oh, look at them resolving all conflicts with I will take the high road, and it's like really rewarding.
Yeah. Also, like, miscommunication as a very popular trope, not there so much. No. Usually, there can be misunderstandings, but then somebody like explains it and then that sticks. It's like,
oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Can you do that? Is that allowed?
Yeah. There are definitely things said in these early volumes where I'm like, that, you just said that. It's volume 4. Like, we're all on the same page in volume 4 about the trajectory of where we're trying to go. That's amazing. All parties have been informed, Wow.
Yeah.
I'm stunned,
Yeah, there's not as much will they, won't they, right? It's how will they.
How. It's all how. Just if it was a chart and it had like who, what, when, where, why, how. Like, how is over indexed in this. I will also say that, again, I think a lot of things we're saying we don't apply to volume 1, but the art is very intricate as well. And it draws you in. You're like, damn, how many little royal crests stuff did you put on here?
I know. Yeah. No, the art definitely gets prettier and prettier. I feel like there's a sweet spot like in the teens to 20s where I really like the art, and then it like goes in a different direction that I don't like as much, but it doesn't ever stop being gorgeous. It's just like, oh, that's a stylistic thing. That's not quite my style. The outfits are beautiful.
Yeah, I'm always like, what?
Even at the beginning, they're pretty complex.
I know, and it only just puts that on extreme. Like,
I think Akizuki just really loves designing fantasy clothes. I forget where, I think she said in an interview I read at some point, you know, in the last 10 years, that it's based on the clothing of a particular real world country, but I don't remember what it was.
oh.
And I feel like uncultured for not being able to pick it up from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, a lot of her author's notes are like, I went on a trip and I just took 50 million pictures for reference for my art, you know?
Yeah, but that trip was to England in these early volumes anyways, and I know it's not that.
Nothing so basic.
No. It's really pretty.
It's so pretty. I'm just like, how? There's so many different clothes. Anyway, okay. So it's very pretty. It's very heartwarming. Plots leave something to be desired. That's the quick overview of Snow White with the Red Hair. Okay. So, as alluded to earlier, Snow White with the Red Hair is published by Viz Media's Shoujo Beatline in English. There are currently 26 volumes, so and counting. Like, it went on a little hiatus, right? But it came back recently. I think 26 is how many is out in both English and Japanese right now, though. So I don't know. Maybe we're in the final arc. Maybe we're not. Unclear. I have no idea. Like, question mark. This is easily gonna hit 30 volumes, if not more. Like, I'm gonna call it. So it's long, is what I'm trying to say. It's long. It's long and popular, even here. So you might have some luck getting it from your library. My library did have it at least digitally, and I was like, this is kind of unpleasant to read on my tiny phone, but I'm gonna do it for all of you. Asher owns all of them, but we were in separate places, and we both needed copies. So that's what happened. So consider checking it out from your library, or consider purchasing from Manga Mart, which is a family-run manga store. I will put an affiliate link to Snow White with the Red Hair at Manga Mart in the show notes. You know, if you're on the fence, check it. Just try to check it out from a library. See if you like it. Definitely read more than the first volume. Give it at least 4 volumes. Okay.
Wow, that's asking a lot.
Okay, 3. By 3, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
3 solid. 2 is like better. 3 is actually solid. 4, you're like, I'm in deep now. Okay, like that's it's just trust me. Okay, so now we're gonna do spoilers. We're gonna spoil specific plots and things that people did and whatever in these first 10 volumes beyond the first chapter. So if you have not read this, pause it. Do or don't come back. I don't control you. Or don't pause it. Hear what happens. Again, I don't control you. So here we go. I've given you the spoiler warning. Spoilers incoming. So to just place the people who have read it in time of where we are. Volume 10 ends. That's like, you get a lot of backstory about Kiki. We meet Hisame for the first time. Shirayuki and Ryu are returning from Lilius from round 1 of Lilius, which was the flowers are causing a horrible sickness. Was solved in like a volume. So that's where we are. So I do think that since this is a very long series and there are just so many characters, we have to at least walk through our main ones.
Yes.
And discuss them a little bit each general feelings, what they're about, things like that. Okay.
I love them all. They are all my children.
You love Prince Raj. We're going to get there anyway. Obviously, you love Shirayuki.
Yes.
Tell us
Who
more.
doesn't love Shirayuki?
Who doesn't?
Name one
Izana.
person. Izana is like specifically not allowing himself to be in the same space as Shirayuki because he knows.
He's like, I will not be swayed until you have completed my 40 trial. You're on 3. Get with the program.
Yes. Shirayuki is just
pure magic.
She's determined. She usually doesn't take people's crap despite being very nice.
Yes.
Right? That
right.
Does that feel accurate?
Yes. Okay, so I think that, yeah. I, in the beginning, told Asher, I was like, the first volume feels a lot like Maid-sama. Like, that like mid-2000s art is strong. a little jagged and everything. But, like, the funny faces they make, the, like, episodic storytelling of, like, just, over-the-top bad people, like, doing bad things. But Shirayuki is distinctly not Misaki.
Yes.
And that Shirayuki is just like, that's cool that you said that, and no, and bye. Just like very like matter of fact, I'm doing this, or no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. She's a healer, but
she will kick your ass.
Except without actually doing that. Because Shirayuki never fights physically.
No, but she will kill you with words.
Yeah, she'll kill you with kindness.
She'll just kill you with kindness, for sure.
She she's not the simpering healer type. She's not a white mage.
No.
There are actually cool white mages out there too. But there is that old trope of the self-sacrificing, gentle, pure white mage girl, particularly. And Shirayuki, is self-sacrificing and kind and gentle, but she's also like a real person. Like, she's a weird real person, but she is a real person.
Yeah. I do think that's what's weird about volume 1 too, though, is you're like, like, are these reasonable reactions for like Mihaya like kidnapping hers and things, like, right, like,
right. And like, as the series progresses, you find out more about like, oh, why she's so self-sufficient. She was taught, like, you got to do it yourself. She grew up in a tavern.
She sure did. She sure has a secret dad who never appears again.
I'll be honest. I've read this so many times. I can never remember her dad's name.
I don't remember his name already. No.
Mukaze or something.
Oh, it's something like that.
Sorry, Shirayuki's dad.
I definitely rereading it. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's her dad. It doesn't matter. He never comes back.
Yeah.
There's been like 20 more volumes and we've never seen this man again.
Look, I'm sure he'll be back for the wedding.
Oh, he better. Yeah, so Shirayuki is special.
Yeah. She was genetically engineered in a lab to make you root for her. Yeah. Is how I feel about Shirayuki.
Yeah. And just, I was joking about Prince Izana before. So Izana is the crown prince, Zen's older brother. And his whole thing is making like the most logical, not ruthless. It tends to be ruthless in his execution of the most like logical way to get to. He is also a good boy. He wants the good things to happen. And he will do whatever it takes to get there, except commit crimes, actually.
He will encourage other people to commit crimes.
Yeah, he's like, I want to activate as many trap cards for other people to fall into as possible.
I would actually not call him logical so much as calculating. I don't think he's very logical at all. Why did he do any of that stuff with Lido and whatever the other people were? Sui? Doesn't matter. It didn't need to go down like that. It just, doing it like that made it so that nobody else had any wiggle room. Things had to go the way he wanted, essentially.
Right.
So I would call that very Machiavellian, very informed about the way people's minds work, their relationships
He's playing
work
psychological games
all the time.
Yes. That's his jam.
That's
and
his
so
jam.
he really wants Shirayuki to fall into one of his trap cards. And
Yeah.
she is, as Aster said, genetically engineered to like not fall into one of his trap cards.
Yeah.
And he's having a lot of fun with that.
I think he is. He's like, oh, I am surprised and also delighted. I love this for my baby brother. Also, I will tease him relentlessly for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he will
which
never live
I was
this down.
already going to do.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they have like a 10-year age difference, at least.
Zen and Izana.
Yeah.
Is it that big?
It's maybe not that big. Because he was 17 when the thing I just referenced happened.
Yeah, and I think Zen was like 10. So it's
that
like
makes sense.
7 or 8 years, yeah.
Okay. So we should go back to Zen.
Whoa, wait. I want to keep talking about my boy Izana for a second since we already skipped to him.
Okay, fine. I want to point out that Izana is not a main character. Ashley just loves him.
I do love him.
I don't remember you liking him the first time you read through, like at the beginning.
No, that's where I'm going to go with this, is that, okay, one of the biggest problems with this manga, its biggest problem is not even the plotting. It's literally just anytime it introduces somebody who you might mildly think is a bit of an asshole, they're like the worst person ever. So the introduction chapter of Izana is just like, wow, you definitely hate that guy. And then to the manga's credit, it somehow always introduces these people to be the most horrible human beings you've ever met. Like, even if they're not actually committing the worst things you've ever known, right? Like, just like emotionally, you're like, I hate them, right? like Raj actually was committing something pretty bad. And Mihaya, the kidnapping and like setting stuff on fire. Like, okay, that's bad. Like, Izana just comes in and is like, no way are you hanging out with a commoner, Zen, you know, like never in a million years. Look at my cold calculating eyes, right? Okay. So like
it wasn't exactly that it was hanging out with a commoner. It was like bringing her into the palace, right? Like there are rules that are going to shake up, like trespassing the rules is going to make things difficult at court.
Right. And so, like, that's Izana's thing. And then, like, later we get Hisame is introduced, and he's, like, he's gonna be important later. But, like, I like him later, too. But just, like, his introduction, you're just like, what an asshole. He's like, what are you doing? Like, he just comes and he's like, Kiki, why did you spurn my proposal? Let us duel. Like, if I win, you're gonna marry me. It's like, shut up. Like, who are you? So Izana's is like peak fat. To the manga's credit, it somehow keeps walking back these horrible introductions of these people, like in a way that you're like, wow, you like, I actually really like this person now. And not in a way that like breaks initial understanding of that person, right? Like, it's just like, oh, okay, you just did the story thing of being like, well, actually, he's not so bad.
It's
Look
wonderful.
at it from their perspective, you know? And I'm like, I mean, cool, but like, I do feel like the early volumes just definitely go way too hard like with it, you know? And it's just like, we could just not do that from the start. We could. It takes a while to learn here. Anyway, sure, we can talk about Zen now.
Well, I was going to say that my sense is that Akizuki was super young. Well, I don't know how old she was, right?
Yes.
But those early chapters feel very a young person wrote this. Snow White with the red hair is her first work, that like her first serially published work. She had something before this, but
she had a couple like one shots before this and stuff. And again, it's been running for like 14 years at this point or something. So oh wait, no, it's more. It's like 19. I'm pretty sure it initially published in 2006 or 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
So it's been going on for 18 years. And I think you think that she was really young too, because she mentions in the early author's notes that like her sister and her mom are like helping her with like filling in the art, the background art and like toning stuff.
Yeah. Like her dad hates Izana.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I mean, he's right. From that first chapter, you should hate Izana.
Yeah. Izana was a big bully in that chapter.
Oh my god, he came in so hot. Okay. But he's great. I love him. Anyway, talk about Zen.
Zen's a good boy.
Oh, he's such a good boy.
He's a good boy. Yeah. Do you want to talk about Zen?
Sure. So Zen is the definitely less Machiavellian Wisteria brother here. His whole thing is like he wants to do right by his people, and his core belief is that the only way he could do that is to really actually get to know them and not stand above them and like survey in that way. He's like, I actually have to go out and hang out with people. And I think Zen really believes in a meritocracy in his heart.
Even though he's royal.
Yes. He's like, I want to help people who are not, like, it's not explicitly stated like that, right? But like, he's definitely surrounded himself with people who are not of royal lineage or are breaking some other kind of barriers. Like Kiki is the only female knight and is one of his aides, right? So it's like she's a noble, but then it's like gender is at play here. So it's like he's always finding the gems among the people that he finds. He's like, I'm gonna lift these people up and show you how good the people of our fine nation can be.
Yeah, no, he's very good at seeing the strengths in people and knowing how to support them and knowing where he can trust them to support him. I think his position as the second prince rather than the crown prince has sort of enabled him to do that. And it's also something where he was like, oh, I can do this. I can't be my brother, but I can do it in this way. And he did, have his phase where he was like, I don't want to be a prince. I want to be normal and have fun.
Yes. I want to be a child and do child things.
Yeah. Then he got totally destroyed for that.
He sure did. Izana had to come and be like, see?
Yeah, that sucked. I think another interesting thing about Zen, though, like going back even to this idea of rebelling against his station, is that after he's 13, he actually, like, it's important to him that he be embraced as both like a person and a prince.
Right.
He has to deal with being both, and the people closest to him have to be able to embrace both as well. And I feel like that's a really healthy way to look at having a role you can't put down.
Yes, he realizes that he cannot unbecome the prince, so he's like, how can I wield this in a way that works for me?
Yeah.
And for everyone else.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. He's also really funny. It's
unintentionally
really,
so.
Right. No, it's not like he's trying to be funny. The people around him tease him, and that is funny. Very easy to bully.
He's so easy. Okay, Asher. Well, I feel like you have to talk about the real funny one, which is Obi, who's your boy.
My boy. Actually, I think the next person on the list is the funniest one, but he's not trying either. Obi does try to be funny.
I was like, Obi is smart funny.
Yeah, Obi's funny on purpose.
Yes.
Most of the time. Sometimes he's funny by accident. So Obi is introduced in chapter 3 as one of those villains that...
One of those villains.
He's not the, like, most villain... Like,
yeah.
You don't come out of chapter 3 hating Obi.
No, Obi's just a tool of the really evil one who then we're supposed to, like, kind of forgive. And you're like...
He wasn't evil.
He was just looking out for Zen. Marquise Haruka.
Yes. Yeah. Like I don't love Haruka, but
I don't love Haruka, but wait, can I say that I do really love the scene where Shirayuki confronts him and is like, okay, if that's really how you feel about me being in the palace and hanging out with Zen, then you can just stab me. She's like, you can strike me down. And he's just like, what?
Yeah.
And she walks past him and he, sheathes his sword and does not draw it and stab her because he's like, that's crazy.
He's like, I'm not going to kill an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah, he's like, cold blood.
In cold blood in the palace.
Yeah. And I was like, that's dope. Get him, Shirayuki. Get him.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about when it's like, oh, Shirayuki will defeat you, but she will never fight you.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
so good.
It's so good. I wish she got to do more of that as the manga goes on.
It's true. Like that's actually one of the most powerful ones. Was pretty early. It's pretty
yeah. So Obi is an assassin. Sort of. He's done a lot of shady, suspicious, crime-ish things in his past that some of them were legit, some of them were not. He looks super sketchy and evil, and I love him.
He's got those evil cat eyes going on.
Yeah. He's got scars. But he's always here to like cheer people up and have like a reasonable practical solution to things and, point out when people are being kind of dramatic. He likes to jump off of walls and out of windows. So does Zen.
Yeah.
Obi does it more, but Obi looks like he does it more too. He's supposed to. He's a little ninja man. He's not little. He's 5'10".
Oh, sorry.
These are the things I know because I roleplay Obi on the internet.
He loves Obi so much.
I do love Obi so much. He's just so fun. He's a good dude. He's here for his friends, basically. He's not the kind of person who previously has like let himself get attached to people or places. But man, he loves being with this crowd. He's like, oh, they're so funny and cute. Oh no, I love them.
Oh no, yeah, that is so definitely the first time around I was like, okay, I like understand why Asher likes Obi and I see the OT3 thing happening, but I was like, I felt like it was inconsistent. But then rereading it this time, I was like, oh, this guy, he was in deep like fast.
Yeah.
My favorite Obi moment was actually like the devastating, like disheartening and anger that we had to see him have this one time when Shirayuki gets kidnapped in her home kingdom at the banquet and he's like, I failed so bad. I was like, oh no, Obi.
You have fallen into my trap.
Oh no.
I love him. I love that devotion. It gets me. That's why I love this cast. They're all devoted to each other. But yeah, Obi also has that, layer of humor, of good humor and just like loving them without wanting anything in return necessarily. That they're like, no, but we do love you in return. Get over here. Get in this hug.
I was trying to pinpoint in my mind, maybe I'm already going to forget, but I was trying to pinpoint in my mind, like, why Obi's humor is refreshing. Like, it's kind of relatable. I'm like, he's just always going for, like, the jokes, right? Like, he's always going for, like, inappropriate jokes or whatever, right? Just wants to needle people. But I was like, you know what? It's nice because I genuinely don't feel like Obi is using it to mask his own feelings all the time. Like it's not like, oh, he's so hurt inside. And so it's not like that, right?
No, he's doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
Obi is legit in this world to have fun.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. I think in his we're going to be deep and introspective about Obi chapter in volume 8, Tro says Tro is like...
Is that what that chapter was trying to do?
I think, yeah. Well, it was a chapter about Obi. It was trying to get into Obi's head and like figure out where he's at, right?
Right.
As a side note, I think it's super funny that like Akizuki talks about how everybody else was like, particularly her sister was like, I want to know more about Obi. Obi. Like,
Obi all the time.
I get the sense that like Obi was a character that like grew on her by mistake. She didn't name him in that original chapter where he shows up.
No, he was definitely not supposed to be included in this main cast initially.
And here he is. He is entrenched.
He is deeply entrenched.
he I think has more scenes than Zen. He has more covers than Zen, I think.
Oh my god. Maybe not at this point, but yes, in the next set of volumes.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, this chapter in volume 8, Tro says, like, you didn't get attached to anybody, or you weren't attached to anybody, not even yourself. And I was like, oh.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, that is, like, a really, like, astounding thing to say about a person. Like, you can psychoanalyze that for days, and it's true. And I think it gives him a lightness that you don't see in other, roguish, criminal with a heart of gold kind of characters necessarily. Like he's genuinely here to like cheer everybody up and have a good time and ship his ship.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I brought up the OT3 earlier. So Obi comes in and definitely starts to have feelings for Shirayuki. That's pretty clear in these volumes. But the way that he expresses that is like by becoming this extension of Zen, which everybody also picks up on within these volumes. So at one point, Shirayuki must go back to her initial kingdom, which is Tambaroon, to go visit Prince Raj, who still kind of sucks, but not so bad by this point. But Zen is like, well, I don't want her to go alone. Like, her red hair brings trouble. Can we really trust Prince Raj? Like,
yeah, really. I was like, Prince Raj wanted to.
Yes. He wanted to concubine her. We know. So, Zen's like, I should send an aide. And initially he was like, I'm going to send Mitsuhide, who we're going to talk about next. Because Mitsuhide is actually Zen's, like, longest employed as his aide at this point.
He's also his strongest. Like, if you're going to send a bodyguard, you send Mitsuhide by default.
Right. But Obi comes and is like, no, master, I challenge you to a duel. And if I win, I get to be Shirayuki's bodyguard on this trip. And everybody's like, okay. Question mark. And then from there, like, it's really gonna be like Obi's role is Shirayuki's like bodyguard whenever Zen cannot be around.
I mean, it was his role even kind of before that, because he was
doing it in secret.
Yeah,
he was like, Shirayuki wasn't supposed to know that Zen was using him surreptitiously after he tried to do bad things to Shirayuki.
After he shot an arrow at her.
He wasn't aiming for her.
He was not aiming
for
her.
Scare her.
He was.
Yeah.
And then he was very impressed that she grabbed the arrow.
He was like, I like this one immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
As does everybody who encounters her except for Izana, because he's funny. So the Obi Shirayuki Zen vibes are strong.
Oh yeah, it's Obi ZenYuki, by the way.
Obi ZenYuki. Oh
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. You're like, we have a name for that.
We do. Yeah, it's Obi ZenYuki is the OT3. There's ZenYuki and Obi Yuki. It's not that creative, but
no, it's not.
We got it.
But that's okay. Okay. So I'm sure we will dive more into relationship dynamics. I'm very tempted to ask, but we have a question about that. So we're going to save that. We're going to put a pin in that. Okay. We're going to talk about the butt of all jokes, Mitsuhide.
I love Mitsuhide.
Not as much as
Again,
you
I
love
love them
Obi.
all. No, but I do love them all.
Okay, so Mitsuhide, in the beginning, he's set up to be like the real butt of everyone's jokes in chapter 1. Like, they just come for him. And she was like, I'll just keep going with it. So, but Mitsuhide is just kind of if everybody else is more like cunning, Mitsuhide is more straightforward. And he has one true goal, which is like see Zen's goals realized.
He's very much
very dedicated to Zen.
A knight, right?
Yeah.
He's very much Zen's knight. And yeah, like
he sure is.
He sure is. Like, this isn't a character archetype we haven't seen before. It's just that Mitsuhide is so nice and charm. Like, he's like, golden retriever boy.
He is a golden retriever boy.
He's not actually stupid or anything.
No. I'm not trying to say he's stupid. I'm just like, he is more unassuming, perhaps, than the rest of them.
He's just a big, tall, nice guy.
He is the subject of, I think, the worst chapter, certainly that we've read so far, but maybe in the whole manga.
I was like, what? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that chapter's weak.
That chapter is bad. There's one chapter where Mitsuhide walks into the herbalist's like wing looking for medicine for Zen because he got like a minor injury from silliness as well, which I think we will bring up later as well. So he like knocks over something that hypnotizes him and makes him like extra deferential and flattering, I would say. And everybody's like, ew, make him stop.
Yeah. I wonder if it's something that like came off as more sensical in Japanese because like deference and formal language is so deeply, it's more deeply tied than it is in English. So like the weirdness came from like a single source instead of two weird sources.
Maybe. All I know is I didn't like reading it. Generally, I think Mitsuhide of the if I consider only Shirayuki, Zen, Obi, Mitsuhide, Kiki to be the core main cast, I do think that Mitsuhide is my least favorite.
I think that's pretty common. I think I would agree, and like he's still a good guy. I still like him. I still think,
like him.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, he doesn't leave the impression maybe that all the other ones do.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's fair, but we will never get tired of making fun of that guy.
No, it's great. I think we will make more fun of him next time.
Probably. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, are we doing the next 10 volumes or like the next all the volumes?
No, the next 10 volumes. I still think that, yes, that includes that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Oh my God. Well, let's round out the super main cast with Kiki. Who, through the first 5 or 6 volumes, was really not doing that much. TBH. Like, she wasn't talking that much, at least.
Yeah, she's not a talkative type.
No, but then we get to actually hang out with her, and you're like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, she's awesome.
Oh, we haven't gotten to that. In the next volume, she wears this awesome outfit, and I'm like, girl, stop looking so hot. Stop killing me.
Yeah. So everyone, even though everyone's in love with Shirayuki, right? Everyone is like,
is also in love with Kiki.
They are like, Kiki is actually the most beautiful woman on this earth. I worship the ground she walks on. Everyone. Except Zen. Zen thinks she's really cool, but he's not like that to her.
No. There's no romantic vibes there.
0.
None.
And thank God for that.
Yeah. We don't need that.
We don't need that. So Kiki is Zen's other age. She's very cool. If you consider like Mitsuhide as the one who's like stereotypically strong and like he's not brawny and whatever, but like his battle prowess is that like he's just real good at swords. Kiki is real good at technique with her sword. She's very quiet and serious, line face all the time, gorgeous blonde hair, doesn't take anybody's crap.
Does not take anybody's crap.
She's the straight man to all their shenanigans
yes.
constantly.
Yes.
but she also
Comes in with those zingers.
Yeah. Like, she's aware of her role and she plays it up. Yeah.
That's what makes it funnier when she lands them. It's like, oh, yes.
Yes.
Kiki, you can zing me all day, you know? Love you, husband.
I know. I get it. We all think that Kiki's a goddess.
What's up?
So what else? So Kiki, we keep comparing Kiki and Mitsuhide because their positions are the same, right?
Yes.
They are Zen's right and left hand, basically. So in contrast to Mitsuhide's sort of commoner background, it's sort of unclear if he's like actually a peasant or some kind of middle class.
Right.
Kiki is the daughter of a count.
Yes.
Or a viscount or something.
No, it's a
like
count.
I've seen so many different translations that I'm
pretty
remember.
Sure he's a count.
Great. And she is going to be the heir to his territory.
Yeah.
His thing. His county.
His county, yes.
That's where the word comes from.
Yeah. You got there.
So she's here to sort of, she's not just Zen's bodyguard in the way that Mitsuhide is kind of Zen's bodyguard. She's also an advisor. She's gonna be like a peer in a way. And so she teaches him something different, I think. Her being there teaches him something different.
Yes, but he was actually the one who was insistent upon her joining because he felt like, I got the sense at least, that he was like, you're taking this too literally to some degree, right? Like, she's like, I only have myself.
Right.
And he's like, no, come here.
Yeah. I think it's both. It was a combination of admiration for her determination, right? Like, he really liked what she said about, I should be more prepared to take on the role of being the countess or whatever than my predecessors were. That is all I have ever striven for. And he was like, oh, that really resonates with me. Trying to take, what all that has been passed to me and make and do better with it, Right. So he really liked that, and he wants to hang out with her, right? And also like, oh, and you're a person. I recognize this because I'm a person too. You should have friends. Come be friends with us.
Yeah, you should put more faith in other people and learn to maybe respect yourself more by leaning on other people.
Yeah. And respect them more.
Yeah.
It's a lesson that Zen himself was recently learning. And he was like, oh, we can help each other. And that's the core of this again. That's what Snow White with the Red Hair is about.
Yes. So Kiki's the best. No.
Yeah. No notes.
Kiki's the best.
Everyone in Snow White with the Red Hair would agree.
Yep. Like Obi's joke is calling her Princess Kiki, and it's like, is that a joke?
It's Ojo-san in there's an anime, by the way, so you can I'm not like being like, if you read it in Japanese. No, I've also watched the anime multiple times. So it's Kiki Ojo-san, and it annoys her. But it doesn't exactly translate to princess, but it's still, there's not another way to like convey why it's annoying.
Yeah. Oh, but it's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the main 5 lovables. We did already discuss Izana, who I love very dearly, but there are some other people that, at least certainly in these volumes, may or may not show up so much in later volumes, but I think are important to discuss. Let's start with Raj, because he's actually less important.
He shows up earlier.
Yes.
Let's talk about Raj.
So Raj, he sure did some legwork to try to redeem him, huh?
She did, and it worked.
It did regrettably work.
Yes, so Raj, in the notes here, Ashley has written, a joke of a prince. It's a miracle we're reforming him. And like, yeah, he is a joke of a prince. And like, amazingly, there's this whole arc that turns him into a person, you know?
It's wild.
All princes start as frogs, eh?
Hey! Yes, when he stands up to the pirates and is like, I'm with all the merchant ships because they trust me, and Shirayuki is friend of the royal family. I was like, you know what, Raj? Good for you.
Yeah. It's a testament to the power of like actual human connection. She's like, no, stop being weird and treat me like a person. He's like, I don't know how to do that. And she's like, okay, I'm modeling this for you. And he learns.
Okay, but can we also talk about how he was like, I invited you to this banquet, and then she's like, here I am, kind
He's
of
like, why
ordered
did
by
you
Prince
come?
Izana to be here. And he's like, Shirayuki, may I ask, but why?
Raj's like, I invited you to be nice. You weren't supposed to come.
You weren't supposed to say yes.
And she's like, what? Well,
he's like,
too
this
bad.
is not, you're failing the test. And then he's like, fine, I'll pay attention. Let's keep taking the test.
Yeah. He really, it took a lot, right? Like we met him 3 times, I think, before he started becoming tolerable. So the legwork was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, wasn't he 17 at the start of this?
Probably.
So, like...
No.
No. I'm not saying that that's acceptable behavior for a 17-year-old. I'm saying that, like, growth is real.
Growth is real. Accept it when they're teenagers and then they're not teenagers. You're like, there's a lot to learn in those years.
Yeah. We've got a lot... I don't know that they like go into this explicitly ever, but we've got a lot of nobles that we're dealing with, a lot of rich people, who grow up in a really weird, like, to us, setting where they are put up on pedestals and have this very convoluted, like, code of conduct to adhere to, and like, no wonder all of them are weird.
They're all, he's definitely weird.
Yeah.
I like his aide, Sakaki.
Of course you do.
You're welcome. Why do you say that?
You love those big stoic types.
I do. He's also, he's trying his best,
Big stoic, snarky types.
Big stoic, snarky types. He's funny. He's good. Anyway, I think the last big character who is recurring.
The littlest character.
The littlest big character is Ryu, who is Shirayuki's boss, but he's 12 years old.
And he's like super tiny for a 12-year-old too. Like, I look at him and I'm like, that's not a 12-year-old. But whatever.
That's not what Akizuki says.
I know. Ryu. Autistic coded.
He's super autistic coded.
Very sweet kid, very smart kid, does not know how to interact with people at all. And like, some of that's not his fault, right?
No,
like,
he's 12 and he's bossing people around.
Yeah, it's people are like, he likes poisons? That's weird. It's like, what do you think medicine is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally saw some headline the other day that was like a scientist who studied like lizard poison or like lizard tongues is what led us to Ozempic. I didn't read beyond the headline, so I can't really tell you anything, but like that, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah, no. Ryu, I feel like there's less to say about Ryu this early on than later. Just because, like, he is kind of here to be a cute little kid.
Who doesn't behave like a cute little kid because
Akizuki likes drawing kids, like she said that in one of her
and she
author's
also
notes.
explicitly said, she was like, okay, when people would think of a person who studied medicine and makes medicine and is an herbalist and is a teacher, they would think of some old geezer man. And I don't want to to be that, like
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like
yeah.
blatantly trying to break a stereotype.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that there will definitely be more to say about Ryu later. Right now, he's sort of kind of a prop.
He exists. Yeah.
He exists.
He exists. Everybody remember that he exists. Okay. So before we talk more deeply about like the overarching plots that happen and how they did or did not make us feel, I think this question applies to this. So this is from @allofthemanga on Blue Sky, who is Olive, and Olive was the guest for our short KK episodes, if you want to go listen to those. So we have the question, currently, what is your favorite relationship dynamic? It doesn't have to be romantic in the series. There's so many good ones, it's fine to have multiple answers. Would you like to go first, Mr. This is my favorite shoujo manga?
Yeah, I would. My favorite, and it will continue to be my favorite through the next 16 volumes as well, is the OT3 Obi ZenYuki, which doesn't have to be romantic, but like I like reading it that way. I mean, the ZenYuki leg is obviously romantic.
Like the ZenYuki leg goes both ways. The Obi-Yuki leg goes at least one way. I don't really get the Obi Zen vibes too much. Maybe going from Obi to Zen.
Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah, like we didn't talk about it, but Obi is always like, Master, you have beautiful eyes.
Yeah, he's
and like I feel like later on in in volumes like 12 and 13 and 14, there's more material there for that.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy Obi and Zen's dynamic. I love when they talk about Shirayuki. I like that Zen doesn't kick Obi out of his room or his bed, you know? And like Zen has always been craving someone who treats him as a normal person while recognizing that he's a prince. And Obi, like Shirayuki, like Mitsuhide, like Kiki, actually less so Mitsuhide and Kiki, does treat him like that. He's like, yeah, you're my master, and I'm going to tease you mercilessly for the rest of your life. And I think Zen really appreciates that and feels protective of Obi even as he exasperates him. Zen does pick up on Obi being a weird, silly extension of him because Zen is good at reading people. And I think that, I think that's a complicated feeling, being able to recognize that. But also he knows that Obi works the way Obi does, and that's precious as well. So I love those three. I love that they all love each other, one another, and support one another in growing and changing.
Yeah, they are very good. There are a lot of good answers, though.
There are a lot of good answers.
I mean, I do really love anytime Izana is in a room with Zen, just being like, oh, hello, small child brother.
Zen, I'm an adult.
Brother.
Anyway. No, if Izana was nice to Zen, Zen would be like,
and
what's
wrong?
What did you
do with my brother?
Yeah. As an older brother, I too really enjoy that.
It's really good. Like, I still really think
it's really good.
Like, I just love the dialogue of like Shirayuki comes back from Tambaroon after hanging out with Raj, and Izana had like told her that she needed to go to this ball and like, whatever, this banquet and meet with him and everything. And he was like, it seems Prince Raj, likes Shirayuki and and everything. All princes are taken with Shirayuki. And Zen is like, yeah, you could give it a try, brother. And Izana is like, no. You don't want that. You wouldn't like that. And Zen is like, no, your concerns are unfounded. And Izana just still like, no. And I'm like, just kill him.
I also like whenever Izana and Mitsuhide interact. I think one of the funniest moments in these 10 volumes was I don't even remember when it was, but Mitsuhide sees Izana and is like, "Hey, are you testing Zen and Shirayuki?" And Izana's like, "Yeah,
duh.
duh." And then he's like, "Oh, wait, come here a sec. Come closer."
Oh, yeah.
Just in time for Zen to see the two of them talking. And Izana's like, "Oh no, our secret meeting has been discovered. Law, bye."
Law, bye. Mitsuhide, making me look bad.
Making Zen gonna get mad at me.
Zen's gonna be so mad at me now. Yes. Oh, Izana, anytime he does have to interact with Shirayuki, just like trying to break her and unsuccessfully doing it and being like, ha, okay. Let us go, girl.
Yeah. I also love like Mitsuhide and Zen.
Yeah, okay.
Look, I know that, Mitsuhide, I can't say his name.
You can't.
It's just like, yeah, I know that Mitsuhide doesn't interest you as much, but the role he serves for Zen is so important. And I also love like Zen just like ragging on him relentlessly all the time. But also like, he loves that guy. I love Obi's relationships with everybody.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love ZenYuki. Like, I do really love ZenYuki.
I do too.
Obi ain't got nothing on these cuties. Although when he was dressed up in his black garb in that Tom Maroon arc, I was like, don't look good, Obi. Don't try to convince me.
He ends up looking better. You've read those volumes.
I know. Don't do this. Don't do this to me, Obi. Don't do this to me. ZenYuki forever. Okay.
ZenYuki, you can have it. It's part of Obi ZenYuki.
No. I will not be tricked. I will not be tricked into Obi ZenYuki.
I like all iterations of Obi ZenYuki. I like ZenYuki. I like Obi Zen. I like Obi Yuki. I was like, wait, what? Which one's left?
They are all good. Like, I do love seeing Shirayuki and Obi and their interactions, without the others. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
So many good answers, all of them, all the above. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's worth digging a little bit more into the 2 actual arcs that we did here, maybe. If only to set up another listener question. So again, like, arc-wise, we had a ton of weird episodic stuff in the beginning that you're like, that was weak. But, like, the through line is trying to set up Shirayuki to find her way to be a court herbalist.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a bunch of, like, I would say, like, mini arcs that are, like, 2 chapters long each, which one of, like, the bird one has stayed with me, I think, in a negative way, though.
Oh, really?
Just because I'm, like, I feel like this manga, would you call it a fantasy? See, like, I feel like that bird arc where basically there are these birds who, if you use a certain stone and these bells or whatever, they can, like, they hear it and they make their way to you from very long distances. And I don't know, that one to me just felt more in the realm of fantasy in the way that the rest of the manga isn't. That makes sense.
I hear what you're saying.
Like, we're dealing with, like, weird mythical creature kind of thing. I just don't feel like it goes with the rest of anything.
I mean, I feel like it's not that far off from, like, the glowing flowers and the wonder rocks that we haven't gotten to yet.
But those, I guess those feel more relevant because they relate to Shirayuki being an herbalist in a way that this is just weird.
Sure. Sure. I really like the little bird mini arc chapter. Was it really more than one chapter?
I'm pretty sure it was 2 chapters.
Oh.
Because there's the first one where like Kihal and the crappy noble guy who is like killing all the birds.
Viscount Brecker.
Yes, Viscount Brecker. When Viscount Brecker come and they're like setting up, you know, the conflict that they're having. They're setting up what the birds can do.
Right.
They're setting up how they want to resolve the conflict. Then there's at least one more chapter where they actually do, you know, the test that Zen was here's what we're doing. So it's definitely at least 2 chapters.
Okay. I think it's just one episode in the anime. Yeah, I'm trying to like pinpoint why exactly I like that one so much. I think like, yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with Shirayuki being an herbalist, but it does have to do with who she is as a person and how she supports Zen. That's where she makes it explicit that she wants to be able to enable Zen to act with integrity to his own feelings. I don't know, like weird birds don't bother me. And like it was a way of showing that like her ability to make connections, be friends with people based on being earnest and honest and hardworking and like relatable in ways that the nobles can't be is useful to Zen. It also, you know, has Shirayuki jumping off a tower, which is like, yeah, all right.
Listen,
it's funnier that you didn't see that one in the anime, did you?
No, I don't think I got that far.
Okay. We should watch that one.
I only watched like 7 episodes of the anime, maybe.
Maybe you would have gotten to it, but if you didn't, we should watch it. I again, that one's funny for like as an Obi player, as someone who like focuses on Obi, like it's
the sneaky Obi.
There's just a moment where it's funnier in the anime. Where it's funnier in the anime.
Okay. I guess, yeah, I don't hate it for anything that Shirayuki does in that arc. Like, sure, she's a badass in that arc. It's really, I just feel like the birds themselves, like, are kind of weird and world-breaking for me, but, like, whatever.
Yeah. I don't get that vibe from those birds.
Okay, fine. You like birds more than me. Whatever, you're fine.
I do not.
You are the son of a bird, man.
I don't like birds, though.
Okay. I think the other little mini arc we get is Mitsuhide's backstory, which unfortunately for Mitsuhide maybe is like more about Zen and his weird little friend that he had.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't have called that Mitsuhide's backstory.
I think that's what it was
Zen's
supposed
backstory.
to be.
I guess.
This is about how it's like from Mitsuhide's perspective about how he became Zen's aide.
Right.
And like won Zen's trust when Zen was so like against it in the beginning.
Right. And I think, you know, that in and of itself is very telling about Mitsuhide.
Sure.
Like, his backstory is about Zen.
Yes. No, it's one of those things though where it's like, is it telling about Mitsuhide or are we still in the Akizuki doesn't know how to plot, you know?
Yeah.
It's in a gray area for me.
Sure.
I think before this actual call, you know, we were talking about Snow White with red hair over dinner. I think we were just like talking about like the strength of different arcs because we don't feel like Snow White with red hair's overall strength is plotting. And you were like, I think the Tambaroon arc might be the strongest arc in the whole thing. And I was like, that's pretty wild to say, honestly.
I think I'll stand by it, though.
I don't disagree with you, actually. It was very emotionally rewarding, I would say.
Yeah.
There are definitely some wacky things that happen. Raj's siblings are really weird. They get lost in an underground maze for like a chapter, and it's weird. Shirayuki's dad is here and is irrelevant. Like different parts of it are definitely like, but the emotion of Shirayuki having been kidnapped by these pirates, or even the whole thing with like Kazuki. Kazuki is somebody who was like they knew there was this pretty boy who was coming after Shirayuki for some unknown reason, and then we find out the reason was because Kazuki had been like, you know, the pawn of nobles and knew that Shirayuki was wanted for her red hair and desired by Raj, and he was like, I don't want her to suffer the same fate as me and become pawns of these nobles, so I'm gonna bust her out of like all these princes' hands. And it's just like, okay, weird, but sure. But yeah, that's just the emotions of like Obi being like, oh no, I she was kidnapped on my watch and I feel so bad, and all the angry faces that Zen makes, like, yes, I live for them. um
Of course you do.
Oh yes, I love it. I was like, get wrecked, but also I love you. Anyway, I love being devastated by Shirayuki having to think, Zen, please save me. Like, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good.
The other big arc that we did was the first spoilers, but I guess for like the first Lilius arc, where again there's a mysterious sickness caused by these glowing flowers apparently, but like Shirayuki and Obi have to go track it down. And again, the highlight for me is definitely the part where Shirayuki has to interact with Izana and be like, hello, Crown Prince Izana, how about you close off the city because quarantining works? Wink, wink. Quarantining is a sound scientific thing to do, and we have to find the cure. And he's like, okay, get on my horse. And she's like, but I haven't even ridden with Prince Zen yet. He's like, get on the horse. And then they have a, you know, she's being like a little bit scared of him still, but then he asks something about Zen. Or no, he says, you could have just used Zen's name. You could have just basically abused Zen's name to get what you wanted in this situation. She was like, no, I would never do that. That is not who I am as a person. Zen would never respect that. Like, you know, like just goes on this whole rant about that. And he's like, touche. You know, like, I admire that you did not fall into that trap card, you know? Like, and I'm just like, oh, I love you. I love you guys. So good. Spoiler alert, Shirayuki and Obi get sick. Who could have seen that coming? I know. Zen gets mad at them. Oh!
But then he hugs them.
But then he does hug them. And the OT3 is strong again.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and then the final thing was like Kiki's backstory, where again, we I don't actually think we explained it that well the first time. So Kiki's backstory is that like, we understood, we explained half of it, but the other half is that she actually has this somewhat artificial time limit that was placed on her service to Zen of 6 years. And so now she only has 1 year left in the service before she has to go back and be, you know, do her countess duties and find a man to marry and everything. But so we were flashing back to explain how we got there and show you, yeah, again, Hisame, who she spurned at that time.
Her dad spurned him for her.
And then she had to spurn him again.
Rightfully so.
Yes. And yeah, just showing how she met Zen and Mitsuhide and their initial interaction. So that's like where we left off. But so I think giving a little deeper vibe into the arcs overall is maybe helpful to discuss this next listener question. So this is from @SamoyedLoverForev on Blue Sky. And it says, how do you feel Shirayuki's career aspirations and goals have been handled? Do you think they were pushed aside for the romance at all, or do you feel that they were given the time to develop? I think you actually have a lot of feelings about this.
I do. I actually think that the romance has been pushed aside for Shirayuki's career aspirations in large ways. maybe not as much in these volumes, but like spoilers, she and Zen are like separated for 2 years because she decides to go study. I think that, you know, she's pursuing this career in order to stand by his side, but it's not like she's like, this was a career she wanted anyway. And she's like, okay, the way that I'm going to be able to sort of not exactly like be equals with a prince, right? But to be the best Shirayuki that I can be for Zen is to be the best Shirayuki I can be as an herbalist, because that's what I really want to do. And everything she does in these 10 chapters or 10 volumes, except for the Tanbarun thing, because that was an order from Izana, are in pursuit of being a good herbalist, being like having a respectable career that keeps her close to Zen, right?
Right.
Zen never asks her to like skip work to hang out with him, even though his time is limited too.
Yeah. No, if anything, he's like, it's very, I think they both recognize that it's important, as you said, not for her to be like his equal, maybe not even worthy, but just like, you know, she does need this something, right? Like, and they both recognize that. I think that you and I often discuss, again, one of the weaknesses of this manga is maybe not as much about like giving Shirayuki's career aspirations the time they need, but the plotting sometimes struggles to make it, like about her career or like related to her career in any way, right? Such that it takes away some of her agency.
Yeah, it's very difficult to like make a fantasy manga or whatever you want to call this, like about plants interesting to a reader. Like I love plants, right?
You sure do.
But like it's really hard to make watering plants and waiting for them to grow and harvesting them interesting as a manga, right? Like you could make a video game about that. You could make a textbook about that. But it is difficult when people expect like action, and yeah, it's hard to make that interesting, and Akizuki's not great at it.
Yeah.
She tries.
She does try. She tries really hard.
She tries really hard.
Sometimes
I think she should try less hard. Yeah.
Tries too hard.
I actually think, you know, I was thinking earlier that like even before you brought up the bird arc, like I like that arc because it's Shirayuki getting to be useful without
like outside of her
chaining career. Chaining it to herbalism. Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
We are not only our jobs.
It's true. Zen is a big supporter of that belief as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. If it's just Shirayuki's career aspirations and goals of, like, I think her main goal, maybe not her main goal, but certainly one of her goals is to marry Zen. So I feel like that's like, well, you got to do the romance to get there too, you know, like it's not an either.
I feel like it isn't even her goal to marry Zen. It's her goal to be by his side. It's Zen's goal to marry her.
That's true. That is true. That is a notable difference. He comes in so hot with that too. Like I was like, oh, this is volume 4. And you have now told your brother without asking about your intention to make her your bride. Like, that's a choice.
I mean, by the end of volume 10, I don't think he has outright asked her to marry, like, if she wants to. He's been like, I told my brother that I wanted to marry you.
No, yeah, he's done a lot of different things that lied to it.
Yeah. Well, I think if he says it, that is a proposal, and that changes things.
And then that's too hardcore, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I can't marry you yet because my position isn't strong enough. Your position isn't strong enough. We need both our positions to be strong enough.
Yeah.
But he wants to real bad.
He does. He was getting really, like, He almost committed a misstep, I think, in volume 5, but that's okay. Izana didn't make him fall in his trap card. But yeah, I just think actually these two things are given the time they need, and maybe too much time, and it's not necessarily always the strength of this manga for sure.
No.
Okay, so I think we've been talking a lot, so we'll do this final question from Shirayuki Kitsuki 2 on X. Favorite moment between Zen and Shirayuki?
So I love when what volume was this in? It was like in the latter half.
Yeah,
of
it was
these,
definitely like
10.
7 or 8 or something.
Yeah. Shirayuki asks Zen for his hand. They've had, like a serious relationship talk. So she asks for his hand, and then she kisses his hand in a reflection of how he kissed her hand once before, and also just generally, that's a very courtly.
In the when he kissed her hand before, wasn't that in the scene where I was like, you basically propose? But like, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. She takes his hand and kisses it. And I just, first of all, more so than Ashley, I am a big sucker for like knights, right? I love fantasy. And for her to, take that usually male gesture, usually like a protector protecting someone gesture, and for her to sort of pledge that to Zen is just so good. Also the way he just like, he's just like stupid about it.
He's really dead after this for several
over
days.
A chapter. And he's like, I should have given her my other hand that didn't have the covering on it.
Yeah. He messed it up.
He messed it up.
Now it's all he thinks about. Like, it's wild.
Oh, he's so funny.
He's very funny.
Why don't we take turns?
Okay. Well, to nobody's surprise, I like when the things are sad and the big emotions happen. So I really like, in volume 4 when it took them a hot second to realize that they liked each other. Or they liked each other, but they actually had no chemistry through the first volume and a half. Just none. But Shirayuki has that kind of again, kind of just not straight man, but she's not gonna take any guff. She's not really giving into those girly feelings early on. But she's finally realizing, she's like, oh no. I like Zen, but that's not possible because I'm not even a court herbalist yet. I am a nobody. I'm from a different kingdom. I can't like a prince. That's not allowed. And so she's very torn up about having these feelings and feeling pretty sad. She's like, this surely can't come true. And so she has a little cry about it. And, that's when Zen basically proposes to her, but not really.
Oh, Zen.
And I'm like, oh, I feel things.
All right. The next moment I'll talk about is, again, I don't remember what volume this was. I think again it's in the second half of these, but he goes to wait for her in the break room, the herbalist's break room, and falls asleep in there because he's Zen. And
always taking naps.
Everybody's always napping. Actually, I say everybody. It's just Zen and Obi.
It's just Zen and Obi.
Yeah. And she goes to try to wake him up, and being Zen, he doesn't wake up right away. And he sleepily grabs her hand and is like, Shirayuki, we gotta talk about our future. And he's just asleep still.
He weirdly nibbled her fingers too or something. She was very whoa.
It's just that's stupid cute. Even in his sleep, he's thinking about her and planning their future together. Aw, look at them. Oh, he was tired, but he came to see her.
Aw, good for him.
Yeah.
I do like that one too. I wrote down, I guess the second time they have a kind of serious talk about their feelings. Where this is where I was like, he almost fell into her Izana's trap card by going too fast, but he didn't do it in the end. Like Zen is like princess carrying her and is like, I want to tell the world that we're a thing. He's just like carrying her around because she's like, my legs gave out because we like confess our love to each other and stuff. And she's like, he like said it was fine for her to have these feelings again, you know. The thing was he was like, I told my brother already, so like it's fine, you know. And I was like, this guy, he's so excited.
He loves her so much.
He's so excited.
So excited. Wife guy.
Big wife guy energy.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. What's your last one?
No, I added a new one.
Oh, you had, yes.
But I will say the one that I skipped before, which is I love so after when was that? Doesn't matter. So Obi wins her a hair clip.
I guess like before the Tombaroon arc, probably.
Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, because she had that hair clip,
right? Because she takes it too.
Arc. Yeah. Anyway, Obi wins her a hair clip because he's a silly guy who got wrapped up in a martial arts tournament and won because he is who he is. And Zen goes and tells her, and this is the only time in these 10 chapters where he's like expressed to her that she's pretty. He's like, no, that suits you really well. But it's something Obi gave her. Yeah. He's so stupid.
And it's like after Obi had been like, you should get her a present. He was like, well, what should I get her?
Obi has great advice.
And Obi's like, master, get it together, man.
Later on, Obi, because at some point Shirayuki tells Obi that, you know, Zen has never called her pretty or cute or anything. I think Obi asked her, like, doesn't master, you know, compliment you? And she's like, no, not really. No. So Obi's like, I heard from Shirayuki that you never tell her that she's pretty. And Zen's like, no, I told her once, but it was when she was wearing the hair clip you gave her. And Obi was like, oh my God.
Such a dumbass.
Anyway, I love that. I love that he's just like so bad at this.
He's really bad at it. It's great.
He's good at some things, but he's really bad at like some of the traditional romance things. Like
I really think that he's much better when he's talking about Shirayuki to other people who aren't.
Yeah. He gets, yeah, absolutely. But then he does have his moments, like when he princess carries her and stuff, and when they're cutely playing hide and seek.
Yes.
Yeah, but like he's not smooth usually with her.
Another one of my favorite moments is when like Zen had been talking to Izana long into the night, I think, and got a little too tipsy. He was like, I couldn't keep up with my brother. You know, always trying to be cool for his brother. Obviously, they had been talking about Shirayuki and Zen's relationship to some degree, probably among other kingdom things. So Shirayuki, to hungover Zen, is like, I want to make Prince Izana say he's glad I came to this kingdom. And Zen is like, wow, that's one tough opponent. And initially, Shirayuki thinks he means Izana. And he's like, no, girl, I meant you. Like, she's like, I know Izana is tough, but I think I can do it or whatever. And he's like, no.
You are a tough opponent for Izana. Yeah. A match for the future king of Clarinets.
Yeah.
And then my last moment that I'll mention, you know, there are so many great ones.
There are many great ones.
I love that we ended up with 8. Was actually pretty early on when Garak Gazelde, who is her boss's boss as a chief herbalist, gives Shirayuki Zen's medical files, which contains...
That was sad.
Yeah, which contains, like, you know, all the his history of injuries from like sneaking out of the palace and jumping out of windows and stuff.
Normal stuff.
But also his medical history of like purposely taking poisons in order to build up a tolerance to poison which has a name that I can't recall right now. And she just starts crying because she's reading about Zen as a kid, like taking poison and getting really sick. So Ryu sees that she's crying and runs off to get Zen. And Zen comes and is like, I'll be here until you finish reading that. He doesn't take the responsibility away from her. He doesn't try to protect her from it. He's just like, I'll be here while you read this upsetting stuff about me.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That was a good moment. It's true.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one. That's very good. Yeah, while we were talking earlier, I remembered this just very silly one. When they're at the inn or whatever, because there was a surprise rainstorm or whatever led them to this OB backstory with Tro. And so Tro's there and is hitting on all of them. She's like, oh, Zen is hot. Mitsuhide's hot. She was initially on Mitsuhide. Mitsuhide is hot. Oh, this one's hot too. Obi's too dark for my taste or whatever. She might have said something about Kiki too, because Kiki is hot. Everybody loves Kiki.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, Tro just hits on everyone, and then Obi was like, nah, she's not into me, and Shirayuki's just like, or me. And Zen's like, oh, it's okay, babe.
Don't sweat it, Shirayuki.
Don't sweat it, Shirayuki. I love you, babe.
I don't want that one to hit on you. I want to hit on you.
Like, I love you, babe. I was like, oh, what a dork. I love you. All right, so that's Snow White with the Red Hair, volumes 1 through 10. Honestly, it took me a lot longer to reread these because it's really dense. They talk a lot. The art is it's not busy. It's not busy in the way that Maid-sama is just so busy, right? There's 50 million things happening. It's just intricate. It's very intricate. And so it took me a hot minute to read these, but that's volumes 1 through 10, and we did it. We survived. Okay. Thanks for listening to Shojo Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns. You need to gush about your favorite relationship in the series, your favorite Obi ZenYuki moment. Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. We're at Shojo and Tell on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Tumblr. You cannot find my husband on the internet. It's not allowed. Just saying. Are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts or liking the show on Spotify. Or, sharing something about us on social media. That's always helpful. This will help the podcast reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next time for, surprise, volumes 11 through 20 of Snow White with the Red Hair. So we'll be off to the cold north again, and absence will make the heart grow fonder. Stay tuned until then. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, we've got one too, on your back. A plum. I can see it.
I do, really? Are you sure?
Yeah, it's only a little one though.